Hey everybody, it's Miss Kalinicki. As you can tell, my voice is not doing so well, so I called in sick today. But hopefully you can understand me enough so I can explain this lesson to you in a few minutes. If you haven't done so already, please do what it says on the board right now. Do now, copy homework, fill in today's date on your cover for lesson 5-7. I'm going to give you a minute to do that while I drink my tea. If you've already done this, then feel free to skip, but you have about 45 seconds left to get it all done. I should be back tomorrow, so we will be going over homework, so make sure it is done. I don't know if my timer's going to go off, but we'll count it down. 2, 1. Oh, it did. How about that? Alright, so let's get started. Today's lesson is lesson 5.7. We're doing two-step equations with blank. We're going to fill in that blank, hopefully, after this first example. So this example says 3 parentheses x minus 2 equals 12. This person drew 2 arrows, and they did 3 times x, which is 3x, 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6. So instead of writing this first step, they ended up writing this step. So take like 10 seconds, stop and jot. What methods or strategies did this person use to rewrite the equation? I'll give you like 10 seconds. If you want, you can pause the video, give everybody a few seconds. If you want to share before I tell you, then do that. Just pause the video, share, and then come back and I'll play. Alright, if you're back, then it means you're ready for me to go over these with you. If you haven't mentioned already, there are 2 basal methods or strategies that's happening right here. Hopefully someone said the distributive property. That's what the clue are, those arrows right here. Distribute. Distribute means to give out. So if you didn't remember, that's what we wrote when we talked about the distributive property. The other thing you may want to have mentioned was that you are multiplying each time. So they multiplied 3 times x, they multiplied 3 times negative 2, and that's how they got those 2 answers. After you do this, it just becomes a 2-step equation to solve. So I'm going to correctively title this 2-step equations with distribution. So I want you to fill that in your notes as well. So all of the problems that we're doing today, you're going to have to distribute, and then you're going to have to solve. So I'll give you a second to write all that down. Pause the video if you need to. And let's move forward. Alright, here we go. So our first model problem, the steps already here for you. The first step is to distribute first. So if you see these parentheses, that's your hint to distribute. So I'm going to draw the same arrows that I saw there. While I'm doing that, remember you're doing multiplication. I don't think I'm going to write this. I think I'm going to type it because it's too messy. Oh no. There we go. I'm just going to type multiply. And get rid of this junk. Here we go. So if you didn't write that, add that to your notes. Distribute first means multiply. 3 times 3w. What is 3 times 3w? 3 times 3 is 9. And the w is just going to stick right next to it. So that was my first step. I'm going to distribute again. 3, this time I'm timesing by negative 4. What is 3 times negative 4? Okay, 12. What kind of 12? Negative. Okay, and now I'm going to write what's left over that I haven't done yet. So I did this part. I didn't do anything with the plus 6. And I didn't do anything with the equals negative 12. Okay, now my second step. If you notice, this doesn't look like a two-step problem yet, but it will. But I have to do something first. I'm going to add my notes. I have to combine like terms. Give you a second to write it, and then we're going to talk about what that means. On one side of my equal sign, there are terms that I can combine. I'm going to draw my line down because I know I'm going to have to do that eventually. What is a like on this side that I can combine? Nothing else on this side has a W. So 9W cannot combine with anything else. But I can combine negative 12 and I can combine positive 6. I'm going to draw my little bridge here and I'm going to write my rule. My rule for adding these two is different signs subtract. So I'm going to subtract them. I'm going to get a negative, because my 12 wins, negative 6. And I'm going to write, copy down 9W, copy down negative 12, and there we go. Now it looks like a two-step problem. And what we've been doing this whole time is solving it. We solve using blank operations. I know Jess knew the word yesterday. She said it like 3 or 4 times. Does anybody else remember? Oh, I should shout out to Bella. Bella, if you're here, happy birthday. Sorry I'm missing your birthday. The word is inverse. You hear my dog sneeze? He's sitting next to me. He's waiting for food. Alright. Solve using inverse operations. Fill that in. And then we're going to solve this together. I know you know what to do, but I want to do it with you, so stick with me. You'll have time to do some by yourself. Alright, so just for my own sake, for my little notes on the side, I see 2 operations here. Some people have to do this. Some people need it just to organize their thoughts. Some people don't. It's up to you. I see subtraction, and I see this, which means multiplying. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add to undo the subtraction, and I'm going to have to divide to get rid of that multiplication. According to SAD map, remember we've said that a few times too. Let's see if my typing can work. M-E-P. Not terrible. SAD map, I have to do adding and subtracting first. So I'm going to add 6 on both sides. Okay? Which is good. My 6's are going to cross out. Nope, no crazy pens. Alright. I'm going to rewrite what it says here, which is just 9W equals. And I'm going to write my rule on this side. Again, the more you write these rules, the better chance you will have at getting these answers right. This is also different signs subtract. Negative 12 plus 6 makes negative 6. Okay, so I did the adding. Check. Now I have to do the dividing. This is, again, why I make my plan. Because sometimes you get into the middle of a problem and you forget, like, what was I doing again? I have to divide both sides by what? The thing I want to get rid of. The thing that's keeping my variable from being free. And that is the 9. Alright. Now, I don't really have to go crazy with this. 6 divided by 9. I don't know what that is. I know it's just going to be a fraction. Or a decimal. So I'm just going to write negative 6 divided by 9. Now, something we are going to talk about, and I want you to try it. See if you can reduce this. It's going to be negative something. See if you can make it a little smaller. Let me give you a second. Pause the video if you need to. Try to reduce that. By reducing, I mean dividing it by the same number, numerator and denominator. Alright. If you're unpausing the video, then you're good. You can divide both the top and the bottom by 3. Sorry, my handwriting's terrible. So negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my final answer would be negative 2/3. On multiple choice questions that you'll see on your test, most of the time they will not give you this answer. Most of the time they want it simplified. So be aware of that. On your test, unless I tell you, you won't have to simplify. Okay. If you need to pause to copy, pause. If not, we're moving on. The next one is a partner example. What the sub is going to do is pick sticks to match you up with your partner. Your job is to take about 5 minutes to try your best to solve this using the steps that we just wrote down. So again, distribute first by multiplying, then combining any like terms. Finally, your equation should look like a 2-step problem, and then you can solve it the way we've been solving it this whole time. So pause the video, try these out, use these questions to talk to your partner about it. Remember, we wrote steps up right above this, so give this a try. And come back when you're ready for me to go over it with you. Alright, got a couple extra sips of tea in. Here we go. The first thing you're going to do, according to our rules, was distribute first. If you see parentheses, we're going to distribute this first. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times positive 1, positive 2. Alright, now I'm going to keep writing whatever else is here. Plus 4 equals negative 2. Our second step was to combine like terms. I'm actually going to highlight them just because I can. X has nothing alike with it, but this guy is alike with this guy. So I'm going to combine those. When I do that, I'm going to use the rule same signs add. So I'm going to add them together. I get positive 6. I'm going to rewrite what I haven't used yet. And now it looks like a 2-step problem. So hopefully you used your inverse operations to do that. Again, I see multiplying and I see adding. To undo those, I have to divide and subtract. According to SADMAP, I have to do the subtraction first. Subtract by 6 on both sides. Rewrite. Write down my rule. Oh, do you remember? Did you get it right? Did you get it right? Should have been same signs add. And remember that negative sign comes with it. Okay, after my subtracting, now I have to divide. Both sides by the number I want to get rid of, which is 2. My 2's cancel out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And I get x equals, these are different signs, so my answer will be negative 4. If you got it right, good for you. You and your partner worked well together, hopefully. If not, we're going to try some more of these. So again, focus on the steps. Distribute first. Combine like terms. Then solve the way we've been solving this whole time. Independently, your job is to start on the first row. Solve them. Have the teacher check your answers. And then go on to the second row. My only hint to you is be very careful on this second one. Because a negative 4 times a negative 2 is going to make a positive answer. So be very careful on that one. But the first row you should be able to do. The second row is a little bit harder, but I know you can do it. The third one's a real challenge. So if you are good with the first row and you want to challenge yourself with the third row, give it a try. Maybe you want to start with this one. So again, start with the first row, get your answers checked. Then, if you're competent, move on to the third row. If not, go right on to the second row. Do as much as you can do, get your answers checked, and I will check up on your work tomorrow. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day.